Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another show here in Film Fanatic. It's about 10:12 on a Thursday morning. Pretty hot. I think it's going to be a pretty hot and steamy summer day, which is pretty sweet. Summer solstice is coming, so the official start for summer will be coming up. I think it's a week from Saturday's actual summer solstice. So pretty exciting. One of the things that changed, and it's been one of the gigs we've done for since the inception of Quantum. We probably missed. I think last year was the first year. I don't think we didn't do. Yeah, I think last year was the first time we didn't do it, but for about almost 10 years, which is crazy. Two gigs that we've done pretty much consecutively since we started the band with Quantum is usually every summer we would play at the summer solstice block party in Rockland, which is has been always a really pretty fun event. Basically, what they do in downtown Rockland, which is Rockland is about 35 minutes from here, from my house in Northport. It's a beautiful town. I really love Rockland, and I go down there a lot. My girlfriend lives right in Rockland, and it's a real great kind of walking area because you can. There's a lot of cool shops and all kinds of things, and good restaurants, and few music venues. You know, the big Farnsworth art galleries there. But during the summer solstice, they usually will shut down the street and have a bunch of vendors, and it's always on the solstice, the summer solstice, and then they have bands playing all over the place. There's there's bands on every corner. There's all kinds of food trucks and all kinds of stuff, and always been a big, huge attraction for many years that since they've been doing it. And I started, we started doing those gigs. Like we would set up and play in downtown, and we would do like usually a Quantum set. We'd usually play like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we did it every year for years and years, and it's always been fun. It's always been a blast, and some of those years, some of the gigs that we played down there were some of I don't know. There was a couple of them that I felt were some of the most fun gigs we ever had. And last year was the first year we didn't do it because we couldn't. I had something booked and I just couldn't get around it and couldn't make it work. And then one year it got rained out, but they moved it to a different day. And Mike, who plays bass in Quantum, couldn't do it, so I did it solo, and it was okay. It was all right, but usually it's pretty fun. But this year we went to do it again, and it was all kind of set for us to do the same gig. But then, for whatever reason, the town pulled the plug on it, and this is the first time in 10 years that they are not going to have their solstice celebration, which was surprising. So, so I was like kind of bummed, and was had another gig booked, or had another possible gig booked originally also during that day, and so that I ended up not doing that because of the solstice gig, but then the solstice gig, so I lost. So basically, two gigs got canceled on for next week, next Saturday, a week from this Saturday. So I was like, oh, okay, this sucks. So that's a bummer they're not going to have it. And so then I had this other idea. Well, maybe we can still do something. And then so what we're gonna, I ended up booking this other event. So we're gonna do, instead of doing the summer solstice, we're gonna do a show, a Quantum show at Opera House Video. And I just started promoting a little bit of those of the show. I'm gonna hit it pretty hard in the next few days. We're gonna do a show at Opera House Video with my friend Ronnie, and we're gonna basically set up inside the Opera House Video, and it's gonna be early during the day, like 1:30. But we're gonna set up and do like kind of a round robin idea setup where we're gonna play 20 minutes, half hour, and then switch back and forth. So I thought that might be kind of a cool and interesting new idea or new approach, like a round robin thing. But we're gonna be playing there, and it's gonna be Ronnie does this really cool kind of ambient electronic music, and then we're gonna do our little set and have this like try to do this back and forth kind of thing. So that'll be fun. So we're gonna do that instead of the solstice because of obvious reasons. But anyway, and so this other show that I'm doing right now is a little bit of a different show. It's more of a trailer reaction, if you will. I've talked about James Gunn a lot. I really do love a lot of his films. You know, he's made some incredible films over the years. I mean, the first Guardians of the Galaxy is a masterpiece. I think it's easily one of the best Marvel movies ever made. The second Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty good too. It's not as good as the first one, but it is good. Kurt Russell's in the second one, and it just it just wasn't as strong in comparison, but it is good. The third Guardians of the Galaxy, I just think is awful. Like I don't know what the fuck happened with that movie. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that movie. It's kind of a train wreck. It really falls flat on its face. I don't know what happened, and it it is a little bit of it's kind of a darker film than the rest of the movies, which is kind of cool. But ultimately, it fails in really kind of delivering a quality movie. And other films that James Gunn has done, The Super, which is a kind of a superhero film, or it is a superhero film, but it's a super dark film. It's kind of a fucked up, disturbing movie, but it's called The Super, and it came out quite a few years ago. But awesome movie, really really good. I love that movie to death. He also directed another movie which I need to do a show on, which I don't know if I've done shows on either of these movies, but he did a sci-fi horror movie called Slither, which is kind of a masterpiece. Amazing film, so good. And then James Gunn also directed the last version, which was kind of a remake because the first one was such a disaster. But he did a version of the Suicide Squad, which is super badass, and that movie is amazing. That movie is so underrated. It got beaten up badly in the box office and by critics, which I don't understand because that movie's amazing. He's made amazing films, and I've always loved James Gunn. And it's been really a different transition for his career because now he is essentially running the DC universe. And he hasn't really directed any films in years that are not a part of the comic book world. You know, mainly the Guardians films, and then even Suicide Squad, which is awesome. But and now he's like essentially running. He's the captain of the ship at Marvel, and he's like the main guy, which is I mean at DC, which is crazy. So, you know, I'm really part of me is like really excited that he's in charge of something, trying to like get something that, you know, with the DC universe, they just haven't been able to really figure out what they're doing. There's been a couple of good movies. You know, the first Wonder Woman is really good. I do really love the Snyder Cut Justice League, which I think is awesome. But other than that, most of those movies are not very good and pretty pale in comparison to the good Marvel movies. So I don't know. I thought, okay, it could be really good because, you know, his movies are really funny. They're very dark. They're very gory. They're very violent. So maybe, you know, maybe there's hope. But then on the other side of the coin is like, well, I just wish James Gunn could just make James Gunn movies again instead of always, you know, for the rest of his life, he's just going to be doing Marvel films. And I don't think he's ever going to put out a film that's a a non DC movie, not Marvel, a non DC movie. So that part is very disappointing. But I just watched yesterday the new trailer for the new movie for Superman 4, which is coming out next month already, which is crazy. Or not Superman 4, the new Superman film that is being really hyped up as this big epic kind of launch of this new life for DC. It was announced a few years back now that James Gunn was going to be directing a new Superman movie. And I was like, wow, okay, that could be pretty amazing, And they just released the fourth and final trailer for this film. And the initial trailers that I saw for this film made me pretty excited, and I thought this movie looked pretty wild. Definitely felt like it was a James Gunn movie. I love the casting. The new uh, Superman, Michael Covensweet, I think is his name, or David Covensweet as the new Superman, like a relatively unknown actor. The only movie I've seen him in was he was in Ty West Pearl with Mia Goth, and he's really good in this movie. He plays this very dark and kind of twisty character, but really good. And I believe he's a British actor, and I think he's done a few other things as well. But that's the only thing I've seen him in. But he's really good in that movie, and he definitely looks like Superman. I mean, he's got that persona, and I thought, oh, they're gonna go for a relatively unknown actor or actors for the cast, and I thought the choice of him for Superman was kind of awesome. So, but I have to say, I saw the trailer for last night. I saw the fourth trailer and the final channel or the final trailer, and it's coming out. Superman is coming out next month in July already, which is crazy. I mean, we're just time's just blowing right by. And I don't know. It looks like uh it looks like Overload City. In all honesty, there's so many. In the other trailers, they do hint that there's going to be, this is kind of the launch. James Gunn is kind of billing this film, I guess, if you will, as like kind of this launch of this new kind of DC universe, which could be exciting, but then also could be totally fucking exhausting because they've indicated they're gonna make probably 50 movies or whatever. Just keep going and pumping them out. But this is kind of billed as like this new, like fresh, clean slate launch pad for this whole new universe. And including there's going to be a new Batman film. There's all the shit new, without Robert Patterson and just I don't know all of the stuff that's going to be coming out after this movie. And it's coming out. It's actually come out in a few weeks, in July, or I think it's coming out mid to the second week of July or something. So this movie's getting a lot of hype. These trailers have been getting, millions of hits, and it was indicated early on that this is going to be a kind of a packed house movie as far as the narrative of the story. There's going to be, quite a few characters in this movie. But I thought the first trailers looked pretty cool and pretty amazing, and I was like pretty excited. And I still will see it. But I saw this trailer last night where they do show more of these other characters in the movie, and it's kind of bewildering. I was like, what? I had no idea what was going on. There was so much stuff going on. There was like, it felt like there's 1,000 characters being introduced into this movie. And initially I was like, I don't know. Like it made me worried. Like, I don't know. Like this could be just a total clusterfuck. Because that's been a factor that's happened in so many more recent films and in comic book movies in general, where they try to like tie so many things together. They try to bring in so many characters, and it can be just, and they try to make things so overtly complicated, and it just totally falls short, and it's overwhelming, and it just feels like, with the exception mainly in the Marvel universe, where they did it so perfectly, with Infinity War and Endgame, and then Homecoming with Spider-Man, like really complex stories, so many characters, but they totally nailed it. And the Justice League, this the Snyder cut, which I think they totally nailed it. The original version is a disaster, but that version's really good. But my feeling was like, oh my god, this. I was like exhausted watching this trailer, and I just felt it made me worried and made me feel like there's too much going on. I had no clue what was going on. I like that the trailers don't really reveal what the story is going to be about. You know, the trailers have been pretty good with just like showing, you know, these little periods of excitement or, you know, certain things that are obviously going to happen in the story that are intriguing, but they're, you know, they're a little bit out of context. So you don't really know. And, and I like how the trailers have been pretty effective, but this one was very disorienting. And it's the last one before the movie is going to come out, which is next month. So I don't know. I just wanted to do a quick little video talking about it. I will probably still see it because I still love James Gunn, even though he's made some clunkers lately. So we'll see. But I'm not. I am not. I was very excited to see this movie, and now I'm a huge Superman fan. But now uh, it's like in the middle somewhere. It's pretty low. So I don't know. I'm pretty skeptical, but I will probably still see it because I'm a mindless, dumbass, consumer. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.